Someone sent me a link to an article about Rian Johnson's comment on Kelly Marie Tran leaving Instagram. The article is on Mashable, so you know it's already total bullshit. But let's have a go at it anyway. So Chris Taylor writes, quote, "It is a period of civil war in Star Wars fandom. We're nearly 7 months on from the release of The Last Jedi, and a certain very vocal minority of fans, you know, the kind who think a film can ruin their childhood, just can't let it go. Says the guy who's part of a certain very vocal number of people, you know, the kind who burst into tears when their candidate didn't win, just can't let it go. We're nearly a year and a half out of the presidential election, and you guys are still bitching about it. So look who's talking. People love Star Wars, and they want to see a good movie. They didn't get that. They got a half-assed plot, shitty script, and the total destruction of a cultural icon. People are going to be a little pissy about that, especially when you have shit like this. Quote, and now the director strikes back. Yeah, that's a bad idea. Rian Johnson has proven to be the biggest man baby of them all, whining and moaning because Star Wars fans didn't like his shitty film. Oh, is Wee Wee Lil Fifi's hurt? Him want a Star Wars man to make him feel better? Come on, Wee Wee. We gonna go to Target and get you a Star Wars man. What? You want Rose Tico? I'm sorry. Uncle Ethan bought them all. But you can get any other Star Wars man, cause no one's bought the fucking things. I remember going to Toys R Us after episode 1 came out and standing there before the store opened so I can get a Darth Maul figure. I was 17. Everyone else there were 40-year-old men who ran into the store the moment the doors opened. Bolted to the boys' toy section, totally missing the Star Wars toys right by the checkout counter. And there, right in front, the only 2 Darth Maul figures out of the 100 sitting there. I bought them both. I bring that up only because no 40-year-old men ran their asses into Toys R Us, Target, Walmart, or wherever you buy toys to get anything from The Last Jedi because no one wants them. That's how bad this sucked. People still lined up to buy Star Wars shit when episode 3 came out, and everybody expected that movie to suck. You can't give away toys from the Disney films. So, if I were the person partly responsible for this, I'd be less douchey to fans. Being an asshole to people who give you their money only makes them keep their money, like they did with Solo. But you were saying, the catalyst for this fresh round of warfare is the fact that Kelly Tran Marie, who played Resistance mechanic Rose Tico, mysteriously deleted all her Instagram posts this week. Tran has not explained why she did this. Yeah, that's interesting. I checked, and even though all these articles say that Tran left Instagram because of trolls, I haven't seen any proof of this. I haven't seen a post, picture, tweet, nothing. Maybe she was being harassed. Maybe she wasn't. I'd like to see what it was she got before I buy into this oh-so-common narrative that only seems to happen with women. I've been harassed. I'm not going to show you the evidence of the harassment, but I was totally harassed. At this point, it's not even Tran saying it. It's other people just claiming it happened. I'm sure she got some negative stuff after the film, but I find it hard to believe that 7 months out is worse than it's ever been. But go ahead, give me the spin. Rightly or wrongly, Star Wars fans are assuming the reason is the same thorn that has been in this particular fandom's side for some time. Harassment. In a GQ interview earlier this year, Tran mentioned really acidic, misogynistic, racist comments she'd received regarding her casting in Last Jedi. And she isn't alone. Daisy Ridley, who played Rey, received similar treatment at the hands of hardcore minority of haters before she quit social media in 2016. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy has also been the target of multiple death threats. And that's a horrible thing to do, and people shouldn't do it. And most of the critics of the Disney films and Kennedy's piss-poor handling of them aren't doing that, and you know that. But that's not going to stop you or Rian Johnson from engaging in the very dickish behavior you criticize. Rian Johnson tweeted about Tran leaving Instagram. He said, quote, "What we talk about when we talk about man-babies. How brave of you, Wee Wee. You so brave. You put on your big boy pants and call people names. Good for you." Of course, it makes him sound like an ass because everyone will immediately assume he's directing this at anybody who didn't like his shitty film. So Riri followed it up with this. On social media, a few unhealthy people can cast a big shadow on the wall. But over the past 4 years, I've met lots of real fellow Star Wars fans. We like and dislike stuff, but we do it with humor, love, and respect. We're the vast majority, and we're having fun and doing just fine. Oh look, he's gatekeeping. Come on, Riri. Tell us who can be part of Star Wars. Who are the real Star Wars fans? Come on, I know you can do it. Tell me who the real fans are, because I have a sneaking suspicion these real fans are only the people who like your shitty movie. You know who else doesn't like your shitty movie? Mark Hamill. Oh, Mark Hamill has thrown so much shade on Riri and this film that it's damn near an eclipse. Disney had to shut Hamill down to stop him from talking shit about The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And if you want proof that Hamill isn't a fan of this movie, here's this recent gem. Riri tweeted, "I have decided the optimal viewing experience for The Last Jedi is on a plane 8 hours into an international flight." To which Hamill replied, "Brilliant idea, Rian Johnson. The perfect way to prevent people from walking out. Hashtag The Last Jedi. Hashtag critic proof." Damn, that's some subtle fire right there. You can barely see it halfway across the galaxy. So after that supernova burn, what else is there to say? How about Riri's fucked up joke that's ironically on point? How sad is it that you have to joke about locking people on a flying plane to get them to sit through your movie? Honestly, the only one who sounds like a man baby are all the people defending this movie. All you do is whine and nag and name call, and you make yourselves look like the petty motherfuckers you're supposedly calling out. Here's Chris Taylor doing just that. Somebody tweeted, "What they're doing to Rose is bad. I blame you, Ryan. Reason number 2 The Last Jedi sucked is you dropped the ball on their story. You use their characters to implement a tired virtue signaling message that is so persuasive in Hollywood. She did a great job in spite of you." And Taylor responded with this. Want to see the Star Wars equivalent of Trump blaming Democrats for his own policies? Here's a man baby proving Rian Johnson's point by angrily blaming Kelly Marie Tran's harassment on Rian Johnson? Yeah, that's not what he said. The guy actually criticized how the character of Rose Tico was treated by Riri, criticized the politicking in the film, and praised the actress for her work despite the shitty script she got. Nowhere in the tweet, which is right here in front of you, did the guy mention harassment, let alone blame it on anyone. You're literally making shit up to fit your narrative. This is exactly the problem, and it goes on. We get this tweet from Claudia Gray, a Star Wars author. She says, quote, "Star Wars centers on the Force, and the Force isn't just some superpower. It matters how you treat people. Kindness matters. Decency matters. If you don't understand that, you were never a Star Wars fan to begin with. More gatekeeping. How nice." I responded back with, "So it'd probably be a good idea to show that kindness by not calling male fans man babies because they didn't like a film, right? I mean, that would be the decent thing to do, right?" And she didn't respond, and I didn't expect her to. It's perfectly fine for her to tear down anyone who doesn't like what she likes and to gatekeep the community, but no one can do that in response. The thing is that this doesn't work with something as big as Star Wars. You can't make people like something they don't like. Ask Lucas. People hated the prequels, and all his claims about the kids liking it haven't really proven true. Most Star Wars fans, regardless of their age, think the original films are better, even if they've only seen the reworked ones. I totally agree that hating people over a movie is a bit much. You cannot like what they did and roast the hell out of them. That's what I did with TumblrCast Roar. I don't hate the guy for butchering a classic show. I just think what he's doing sucks, and I'm going to make fun of him for it. The same thing applies here. And it's interesting that all these people poo-pooing the comments about Tran and Daisy Ridley and Kathleen Kennedy and Riri don't have shit to say about all the hate George Lucas, Hayden Christensen, or Jake Lloyd got for the prequels. Jake Lloyd went to my college. I actually saw him on campus when I worked there. He looked miserable. He was a child, barely 10 when Phantom Menace came out, and nobody hesitated to go after him. Nobody hesitated to go after Christensen. Even Jack Gleason, the kid who played Joffrey Baratheon on Game of Thrones, got crazy amounts of hate for playing a villain. None of these people poo-pooing over this stuff with Star Wars had shit to say about that. There's this interesting element to this. These four have something in common. They're all guys. They're white. They're straight. So it's okay to harass them, even if they're kids. You can talk shit about a child as long as he's a little white boy. This is what happened with banning Trump. The same people who railed against any mention of the Obama girls had to be told not to attack a 10-year-old boy because they didn't like his dad. And they got pissy about it. None of you, not Chris Taylor, Claudia Gray, or Riri Johnson, are in any position to lecture anybody about how to treat people when you guys turn a blind eye to shit like this. All the people calling folks man babies have Twitter feeds littered with shit talking about Trump supporters, conservatives, Christians, pretty much anybody they don't like. The moment a movie doesn't play to their politics, these people pitch the biggest hissy fits, rolling around on the ground, fucking with the Richter scale. Rian Johnson made a bad film that angered a lot of fans who got something entirely different from what they expected, what they wanted, and what was set up in the previous fucking movie. None of that justifies harassing people, but criticizing a shitty film or roasting the director or actors, harassment it does not make. And you need to stop with the bullshit of attacking fans because you will pay for it with the next film. Like Solo, a Star Wars wah wah. But what do I know? I'm just some guy.